Hi, I'm Salina, the owner of Diaper Lab, and this is...
I'm Nancy, your social media person behind Diaper Lab.
And I think we were ready to talk a little bit about kind of how cloth diapering has evolved. Certainly it's evolved in the past 15 years that we've been in business, definitely. But it's definitely evolved since my mother was in cloth diapers back in the 50s. So I usually give a quick, short synopsis of how that's happened. But the easiest way to show people is actually with a demo. When my mother was diapered back in the 50s, she was diapered with a giant piece of one layer of cotton material, and this is what was called a flat. A lot of people still use flats today. They're not as popular as they used to be, but they definitely still serve their purpose.
Absolutely.
We definitely still sell them here in the store, and a lot of people use them because honestly they're still easy to clean. They're one layer, and they get the job done. You basically have to do diaper origami to get them to fit inside a waterproof cover, but they will definitely do the job. But back then my grandmother told me how often she used flats and a diaper pin, and that's how she diapered all of her babies. Along in the 60s and 70s, the flat evolved into something called a pre-fold. A pre-fold is essentially, if you hold it up to the light, you can see that it has more layers in the middle and less layers on the sides, and basically some of the diaper origami was folded already ahead of time for you. So you still need to fold a pre-fold, but most of the pre-folding has been done for you.
Not nearly as much.
Not nearly as much as like what my grandmother definitely had to do. And so now you have a pre-fold that then you clip, instead of using a diaper pin, you use now what's something called a snappy, that basically uses tension and little clips. So basically like the clip on an ace bandage to hold the diaper together. That came around in the 70s or so, and that became really popular. We still sell lots of pre-folds. They're definitely still the least expensive way to diaper a baby.
Tried and true.
Tried and true. It's really hard to destroy a pre-fold. You would use this with a diaper cover on top of it to keep baby comfortable and dry. Now we fast forward through the 80s and into sort of the 90s, and what most people consider to be modern cloth diapering. Modern cloth diapering in quotes. But sometime in the 90s, a woman named Terrason invented something called a pocket diaper. She was the owner of a company called Fuzzy Buns, which sadly is no longer in existence. But she definitely is one of the people that most people consider to be one of the founders of modern cloth diapering. And she invented something called the pocket diaper. And the pocket diaper is a diaper that basically has a pocket. It has a waterproof outer, and it has an inner. That's the part that touches the baby, that's usually fleece lined, and then has a pocket where you stuff the absorbency in to the diaper. And once it's put together, it is a diaper for all intents and purposes that keeps your baby comfortable and dry. The advantages to a pocket diaper is that you can pull out the absorbency, you can adjust the absorbency,
and it dries so much
and
faster.
it dries quickly. So most people consider pocket diapers to be the modern invention of cloth diapering. After a pocket diaper, we're going through these quickly, but definitely after a pocket diaper is something called an all-in-one. And an all-in-one means that the waterproofing and the absorbency are all sewn together. And this is something that came about again in the 90s, early aughts. When they first came out, they were very thick and they took a long time to dry. Now more modern inventions have come where they make basically the absorbency and the waterproofing are still attached, but not necessarily completely sewn together, so they do dry faster. But when people think of quick and easy and modern cloth diapering, what they're usually thinking of is something like an all-in-one.
Absolutely.
And that's
all on, all off.
Exactly. Cloth diapering has come a long way during that time. My grandmother would certainly tell you that back in the day, she was using a wet pail and basically keeping a bucket of sewage where she, used, either in some places they use something called Dettol or they use bleach to keep the diaper sanitary. Now, most of the time, if you were to soak any of these modern cloth diapers in water for long periods of time, you'd actually ruin the waterproofing. So most manufacturers will tell you not to soak your diapers like that now. You will occasionally use bleach if you need to sanitize your diapers, but most of us don't sanitize or bleach our diapers or our underwear every single time we use them, so thankfully. But occasionally it is necessary to do that, but not every time. And now, honestly, our washing machines are much better.
They've come a long way.
They've come a
obviously.
long
Everything
way. I try
has
to,
evolved.
I try to tell people, like, think about what your phone looked like in 1975 and what your phone looks like now. Your washing machine has come the same distance as well. So cloth diapering has come a long way. And when people tend to think about, they tell people they're cloth diapering.
I'm sure everybody thinks, right? You
Yeah.
tell a friend we're going to cloth diaper, they're thinking you're doing something like this, and they think you're bonkers. But in actuality, you know, you can literally start your newborn baby with something, like an all-in-one. And, you know, you get to match it with whatever outfit you like if that's something that works for you. Or you get to go with something as simple as a pre-fold in the cover. And you can reuse the cover as long as it's not stained, which is great. And these are just easy to wash. And honestly, the sun does the sanitizing for you, which is something that I love.
And Velcro, like people forget that Velcro exists. Velcro exists for a reason.
And don't be afraid, if this is something you want to try, don't be afraid to reach out. There's definitely different ways that you can learn about it through either workshops. Come on in and ask some questions. We'd love to see you.